shit. They clap my hands twice when I mean shit. I'm on the block, calling for the rock on some beat shit. A smooth criminal, I'm like Jay on some lean shit. Died and came back for my people redeem shit. Devils losing their mind and now they crossing the line. Till a fist goes in your mouth and it comes out with your spine. Out of all the trees you can climb, you devils working the vine. We still hanging from trees and still holding up signs. For my niggas, it ain't no mystery. I gotta shed blood, then if it's us against the world, then I'm coming with slugs. I got my arms stretched out, but I ain't reaching for hugs. All that love is for the matrix, so it's time to unplug the pain. I done seen too many real niggas fall and let these fuck niggas hate me.
Shalom, Yahweh Yashai Barakatha. I'm gonna just wait for some more of the Akim to get in, and then we're gonna start. As well. If you're watching, hit that sign-in link. Shalom, Yahweh Yashai Barakatha. Keep playing these hot bars.
Fucking devils beat me. I must bring the pain. Yeah. What it do? What it do? You know. I be one west to the death till they bury me. They ain't scaring me. Rip the soul out of Pharisee. Sneaking heresy. Oh, never wait. Tell them get the give me slave. And I can never let bygone. Got you. Baby mother on high. Baby pants through the fire. Ain't she the prophets? That baby so below to the Lord. I dare you bought it. That for a failure, bitch, I can afford it. I prepare slaughter, you bring my water. But your leaders weak, let them lies slip through their teeth. Their hands need to stop it. Ain't she the prophets?
That's just the reality, Christians. I'm sorry to hurt your feelings. I know your pastor lied to you every Sunday for 30 years. Right. But that's what the church is for, lying. That's why they exist to lie the money out of your pockets.
Boy, your ass need to stop it. Ain't she the prophets? That's what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe.
My God.
Cause I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west to the death, cause I be one west to the death. West to one west. One west to the death. If I could train a dragon, I could test what I'm a lion. Any climate, and I'm shining like a diamond out of Zion. Been a tyrant, never silent. My retirement's desire. Put my dwelling place is fire. Fitting for my attire. If I could aim any higher, I hit the Allah higher. My asylum is in the bottom of furnace and the bottom. Why I'm shaking, taking the city with a truck, cause it's one big titty bitch. Ready to get fucked from the front to the back. We never stumble, never lag. While they recover from the Sabbath, we on the streets wreaking havoc, raining terror from above. This is Stamos dripping the glove with those models dripping with blood from the scripture, stitching one up with you. Really, I'm here to trouble your problems, and I'm a troubleshooter. First niggas won't fuck with you, making they people uncomfortable. Ushing you to the upper room, truly with the untouchable, fully automatic post status. 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 I'm here to conquer word is about to let my spot to get it on. She got the beauty in the bro, booty eating the dome. Wisdom I never found. Your bitch is breaking your thought with your footage breaking it down. So I'm ruthless about the law, killing me, scratching with a caution. Religion, you're living false society in your thoughts. So I'm coming through with the soul. Kentucky ain't or what my chip or what indigenous will call. Keep the cross, taking the scepter off the mantle like Moses before the battle. The chariots in the rattle, we riding out while the shallow. You copycat get the gallows. Coming out of the shadow of death, resurrect the elect. Blood west, automatic post status. Fully automatic post status. Fully automatic post status. Fully automatic post status. Fully automatic post status. I face the east when I pray, but it's one west. All this camouflage on me, I'm a warfare. U.P.K gonna rule, I ain't far-fetched. You niggas won't run peace like Ryan Ortez. Hey, took it and ran with it. The old me had to die for me to transition. All the churches closed down, it's a pandemic. But you became there, you look like a transmission. You can think the general, I had the bar. Niggas running out of time like I had a more. Red cup like a label, I'm a connoisseur. I'ma leave a what if I draw the sword? Nigga, it's a color comic. Pull on all black, it's a rank, I know he's solid. She ain't gotta get naked, she know she poppin'. We was yelling bag up way before the virus. Hey, most high Christ, this type of life ain't for the weak, we gotta sacrifice. We we seeing unaware. Niggas go against the grain like they cutting hair. But I'm a priest of prophet, I gotta teach. You might not get to see me 7 days out the week. You got questions, we got breakdowns. If you care about this prayer like a breakout. Refuge, it's a safe house. Not too many Texas road, cause it's a straight route. Babylon is falling, let it play out. Fully automatic boss status. Fully automatic boss status. Fully automatic boss status. Fully automatic boss status. Fully automatic boss status.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Yahweh Hashem Yahshai Barakatham to all the brothers, Yahweh Shemai Alatham, Hashem Yahshai to all the sisters. I'm Officer 1000 Zabaja. Hold up 1 second. I'm Priest and Officer 1000 Zabaja of the I.S.U.P.K. That's the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General YAHANNA. We teach that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites of the Bible, right? You're not a spick, you're not a nigger, you're not a savage, you're not an Indian, right? You are the Lord's chosen princes and princesses, right? Now, while the whole world was celebrating Thanksgiving over the last 2 months, in Canada, they celebrated in October. Our brothers and sisters in the tribe of Judah and many other tribes, right, in the United States, they were celebrating it yesterday, right? Now, in the I.S.U.P.K, we're not celebrating it. We know not to celebrate it. Why would we ever celebrate the murder of our brothers and sisters? If someone came into your house and destroyed your home and killed your family members and made a feast about it, would you eat? Would you go to that feast? We didn't celebrate it, right? Now our oppressor, they can celebrate whatever the hell they want. They had their battles. They went to war. They won a war, right? They decided to celebrate. Let them celebrate, right? We celebrate our victories that the Most High gave us, right? That's how we have Passover. That's what we're doing today, tonight. We're remembering the battles that we fought against the Greeks, right? We're remembering when we weren't allowed to keep our laws, keep our Sabbaths. Right, so we're gonna celebrate that. What we're also gonna do, we're gonna celebrate when Christ comes back and he destroys these kingdoms. Right, we're gonna remember that for forever. So let these heathens celebrate their Thanksgiving. Right, you don't celebrate it. You get in the I.S.U.P.K and celebrate the Feast of Dedications, Hachaanakah. Right. Shalom, Trooper Barak Yalla. What you Tuab? You still on mute.
Like y'all one. I say y'all about to show up I'm an officer. Hey, shalom, I feel me y'all about to show up thumb.
Hey, shalom, say shalom, y'all about to show up thumb. Yeah, could y'all hear me the whole time?
Khan.
Most High in Christ. Nah, I just realized my volume was down, right? So we're going to get into dedications. If you're watching, hit that sign-in link, like, subscribe, share this video, right? Celebrate the memorial days that you're supposed to celebrate, right? Light those menorahs, hit those candles, right? Keep your house lit with these candles. And we're going to get into this Memorial Day while we remember the victories that we fought, right? Meaning Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the victories that we had, right? Let these oppressors celebrate their holidays. You don't have to celebrate, right? You're not being forced to celebrate. There was a time when men were being forced to celebrate, right? Men were being forced to change their ways to the heathen, right? That's not these times. You don't have to. No one's putting a sword or a gun to your head and saying, eat this disgusting dry turkey, right? Listen, General Muhammad said it best. A turkey wants to be a chicken. Why are you eating turkey? No one wants turkey. No one goes to the store and says, let me get a turkey. Listen, I need that salakia. Let me get that turkey wing right there, fry it up. That no one does that, right? Let the heathens who can't cook eat that dry ass turkey. We're gonna listen. I know in every priest home right now, in every school, there's some good food happening, and it's not that damn dry turkey with the nasty stuffing, right? So we're gonna get into it. Let's get into who has Trooper Brachiala. Get me first Maccabees verse 1. Right, we're gonna get into how we got into this situation. How did this feast day come about? Right, you're gonna find out that the heathens, just like back then they were cruel to us, today they're cruel to us. You're gonna see the parallels of your life then and our life now. Right.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 1. It happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shechem.
Right. So hold that right there. Right. Alexander. Now this is a famous Edomite. Right. They say he conquered the whole world. They make movies about him today. This is a famous homosexual Edomite. Right. Alexander the Great. Right, he was the son of Philip. He was a Macedonian, right? The jaguar. When you go into Revelations, right, you're gonna find out about the jaguar, right? These are the beasts from the 7 heads, right? Keep reading.
Had smitten Darius, king of Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece.
Right. So Alexander, he defeated Darius, right? This is the king of the Persians, right? This Darius is Salakia, hold that. But Darius, he was powerful, and Alexander, he destroyed him in a battle, right? So now he has his empire and he's reigning, right? Read verse 3.
Salakia,
Khan.
So for everybody that talks about the Bible is fake, right?
Right.
Fake is nothing but myth. So if the Bible is fake, now you see the Bible talk about Alexander the Great. You understand? So was that fable?
Right.
You understand? Everybody wants to say like the Bible not true. That was myth, it's nothing but myth. But now we see about Alexander the Great in the Bible. Is that myth? So like,
right. Right. That's heavy out, because it's like, really, is that a myth, right? If they say Moses never existed because we can't find his bones. Listen, I ain't seen the bones of Alexander the Great. Right? I ain't seen the bones of Salakia, who's another famous one that they like to talk about. They like to talk about Caesar Augustus. We ain't seen the bones of Caesar Augustus, right? So that was definitely heavy. You see that our history book has history of what was happening around the Israelites at that time, and that history matches up with what was happening around the heathens at that time. Right. Trooper Brachiala, you can keep reading.
Verse 2. And made many and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth.
Right. Alexander the Greek, he was what the police force is today. They just go around and kill. Right. He does what every Edomite has always done. He was doing what Columbus was doing. Right. They say Columbus, he landed and the Pilgrims landed, and they Salakia, they had a wonderful relationship with the tribe of Gad and with the tribe of Ephraim, right? That when that is not the truth, right? Just like Alexander, Christopher Columbus were murderers. They went around killing. Keep reading.
Salakia, right now.
Salakia, can you repeat that?
Go ahead.
Verse 3, and went through to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him.
Right. So hold that right there. Baba Kasha, stop at the commas, right? They went through the earth, right? And they took spoils, meaning they were stealing. They were just stealing everything, just like they usually do, right? Just like they did everywhere, right? Everywhere our oppressor dwells, his head is stolen, right? Europe was Japhite lands. The Japhites are the Aborigines of Australia. They're out in Salakia, Hawaii, right? That they weren't the Edomites. The Japhites weren't Edomites. The Edomites control Europe right now. Right? Keep reading.
Whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up.
Right. So the earth was quiet and he was exalted. Like think about it like this, right? You're the guy in the room that could defeat everybody and has beat up everybody. And they don't say nothing when you walk in the room. You ever see it in the movies, right? Where a brother will walk into a place where it's just so rowdy, and as he walks in, because they know he's the baddest brother around, everyone just be quiet and they just stop talking. Right? That's what it was like for Alexander the Great. Keep reading.
Verse 4, and he gathered a mighty strong host, and ruled over countries, and nations and kings became tributaries unto him.
Right. So this man was proud. He was a proud man. His heart was lifted because he humbled the earth, and he gathered a mighty strong host. Right. So he had a large army. Right. And he ruled over countries and nations, and everybody paid him taxes. This is what our oppressor does right now. Keep reading.
Verse 5, and these things he felt sick, and perceived to die.
You can keep reading.
Verse 6, but called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth.
Right, hold that right there. So you hold that right there, right? He called strong men and had them brought up from his youth, right? These were his allies. These were men that he grew up on the battlefield with. They later became his servants, right? And to him they were honorable. To the Most High they were garbage. These were garbage men. These were men who they were not fit to be in leadership, and to make it worse, they were heathens, right? Keep reading.
And parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive.
Right. So he divided his kingdom among them, right? He showed them some type of gratitude for fighting with him, right? And as you read on, Alexander, he's gonna pass away, he's gonna die, right? Because he becomes sick. His servants begin to fight for power, right? That's what you're gonna read as you keep reading. Baba Kasha, Officer Shaywan, can you give me in the same chapter and start at verse 11? The water trooper Brachiala.
Karawan.
Salakia, did you ask me to do something, sir?
Khan, I wanted you to read from verse in the same chapter, verse 11.
Salakia, I'm having troubles hearing you.
No sweat. If you're having trouble, it might be on your end. You might have to jump in and jump out. I'll just get Trooper Barakiala to continue reading until you're able to get back in.
So like sir, I can hear you clear now.
You can
Sorry,
hear
what
me?
was that?
No, I just
Come
wanted
on,
you to read from we're in First Maccabees chapter 1, and I wanted you to read from verse 11.
come on, sir.
Yeah, because we definitely got a lot of reading that we're gonna do tonight, right? Because this is something that everyone's supposed to know. All Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are supposed to know not to eat no damn turkey, right? Not what are you doing eating turkey, celebrating your own murder, right? And just like General Muhammad said, he said something very powerful. If everyone was watching the Thursday night breakdown, right? He said the tribe of Benjamin, Judah, and Levi, we failed, right? The tribe of Gad, right? We failed our brothers and sisters in the Northern Kingdom because we continue to celebrate their massacre. Right, and we need to show them brotherhood, right? We're supposed to know, we're supposed to be celebrating. Listen, it's a better party to have an Israelite party than a heathen party. So
Right.
I've been all throughout the social media, and all I see is Uncle Leroy getting kicked out the house, right? Auntie, what's her name? They be fighting on Thanksgiving. They don't like each other. They listen, they tolerating each other. You know, so and so slept with so and so's man, so it has to be an issue now. Right. They don't give a damn about that turkey. They just came to scrap it out. Right. And we're supposed to be celebrating Hachaanakah instead of the heathens' holidays. Right. So we're definitely going to be doing a lot of reading, and this is going to go out to the whole earth is going to be seeing these tapes. Right, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are waking up. Hell, Kanye, listen, Kanye's not. He never said nothing on that podcast. He never said nothing that the men above us haven't been saying since 1969. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you are the Israelites. It's time to come home. Right. So, Baba Kasha, get me First Maccabees 1 verse 11.
Come on, sir. This First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
Right. So when in those days, wicked men. Listen, this is talking about your priests and your so-called pastors. Your so-called pastors, they act like they're the priests of the Most High when they're just pork eating liars, pork eating hypocrites. Right, adulterous men who are totally wicked, stealers of the community. They want to steal every dollar out of the Black community, and then we sit around and cry and be like, why aren't we prosperous? Keep reading.
Who persuaded many, saying, "Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen."
Right. Wait, hold up. They said what?
Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
I have a dream that one day Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans will be hand in hand with the slave oppressor. Does that sound familiar? Right. Read that one more time.
Who persuaded many, saying, "Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen."
Right. Now, Salakia, who could tell me why they're saying this?
Salakia, other one.
Why?
Khan.
Salakia, other one, if I may. So that they could have a piece of their oppressor's kingdom.
Right. I'll take that. For time's sake, I'll take that. That is definitely it. Right. These are free men. They've been in captivity before. They know what it's like to have everything handed to you. Right. And now they're not in captivity and they have to work for something. They actually have to build their prosperity. right? They actually have to build their wealth, right? But it's hard. Listen, for them it was hard, right? They read that one more time.
Who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us.
Right. They were free people, and they wanted, before they were making some money, and now they're not making as much money. And we know what greedy people want to do. They just want to make money. They just want to eat. They just want to stuff their face. So they eat that Thanksgiving turkey because it happened so long ago, and that food smells so good. Right? Keep reading.
Okay. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Right. They weren't built for suffering. Right. General Muhammad, I was watching a breakdown, right, where General Muhammad, he basically broke it down to, I'm gonna try my best to say what he said. But a lot of brothers are taught that as Christians, that when you come into being a Christian, that all your suffering ends. Right? Shaking that Christianity and coming into the truth does not mean that your suffering is going to end. In actuality, it's going to get worse. You're going to lose damn near everything. You have to be prepared to not talk to the people that you love. You have to be prepared to lose a wife, to lose a husband for this truth. To listen, your mom's going to hate you. Right? Your father is gonna hate you because you won't celebrate his birthday with him. Right? That's what you have to be prepared to do. You have to be prepared to suffer. Right? Read that one more time.
Verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Right. In these days, these are your Kanyes, these are your Nick Cannons, these are your Ice Cubes, men that they'll say something and absolutely not stand on it because it means one less dollar is going into their pocket. Right? That's what these men were about. They were about, they didn't care about not suffering. Right? They didn't care about sacrifice and the hard work that it's going to take to build your nation. Keep reading.
Verse 12. So this device pleased them well.
Right. This device pleased them well. This was something that they wanted to join the heathens. Right. This device, something they could use to join the heathens. They said, listen, we're gonna make a covenant with them, and we're gonna start making money again. Just like every Christian pastor, right? Salakia, there's some pork eating pastor. I think it's either Jesse Jackson or Reverend Al Sharpton, whichever one of them was running for a political office amongst our oppressor, right? They at one point they were against abortion, and then they were telling the black sisters that, listen, you can go get an abortion, and now millions of our children have been murdered. Right. You wonder why our nation is not as strong as why our population is so low. Listen, you got crack cocaine, murder, right? Jail, abortion. This pastor, he was telling everybody, listen, you can go kill your baby. Keep reading.
Come. Verse 13. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen.
Right. So these people, they were so they were so happy to be about joining the heathen. They went to the king and read. What did they do?
who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen.
They went to the king to get permission to go do everything after the heathen. Right? Listen, that's what they did. They said, listen, okay, you want us to do this. Can we be like you? You have to think about how broken down the spirit of these leaders are. Right? And the same thing that's happening today is the same thing that's happening before. Right? So many of our so-called leaders, they're quick to tell us vote liberal, vote NDP. Listen, they want us to go vote for some heathen in a turban. Salakia, like good
Right.
night. They're literally telling us to vote for some, and I can only imagine the heathens. They want the tribe of Levi and the tribe of Gad and the Benjamites who are in Montreal, who they want you to vote for, right? I can only imagine the devils that come through the neighborhood that you only see once a year. Sidebar: I haven't left my neighborhood. Right. I go to my neighborhood to always be around the people that are out there, because there's so many people that are out there that need help. Right. And I remember a heathen, it was election time, I think last year, right? We're all out there, right? They're playing basketball. Some heathen. He's a PM, a member of parliament. He wants to be voted in. He came around. Listen, y'all need to vote for me. Da 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 da. And it's like, okay, I hear you, but why weren't you here last month? He said, what happened last month? And I looked at my brothers and sisters and I said, this is why you do not vote for your oppressor, because he wasn't here when the shootings were happening last month. Right. He walked off. He hasn't said nothing. Right? Now, where were we? Right? They want ordinance to do like the heathen. Right? And these are the holidays. This is to be like the heathen. This is to get that lineup like the heathen, that blonde hair like the heathen, celebrate his holidays. Right? Keep reading. Salakia, Officer Sharyuan, you there?
Come on, sir.
Keep reading.
Come on. Verse 14. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem.
They built what?
A place of exercise at Jerusalem.
Salakia, what is a place of exercise?
God wanted a gym.
Right, and Salakia, right? Get that trooper a hand. Right now it's not unlawful to work out. There's nothing wrong with working out, right? But see what Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans do, right, is totally different from what the heathens do, right? Now, in our oppressors' gym, they were wrestling naked. You had to be in there totally in the nude, right? Now our oppressors found it no, they didn't see no issue with wrestling naked. Why? Because the Greeks believed in pederasty, right? This is where we get pedophilia from, right? They believe that they can see Khan.
Like the white man love in the buff.
Salakia, can you repeat that?
Like white men love to say in the buff.
Right. Salakia. Right. That is definitely something that the oppressor likes, right? And listen, our oppressor, he likes to stay, he likes to be nude. Like, listen, they in colleges, I've heard this. I've never been to college, right? Now, if you know the trade you want to be, I'll just leave it at that. Listen, just do what your parents tell you to do. I'll leave it at that, right? Salakia. But our oppressor, I've heard stories about these colleges where the oppressor, they'll have some type of homecoming. It's an event where it's just like, okay, we're all gathered. They're gonna get drunk. They're gonna do drugs, right? There's gonna be fornication. They're gonna have orgies. But in the midst of all that, some oppressor is gonna get naked and run down the street. Salakia, right?
So like a priest.
Khan.
In Europe, there was a news in Europe when the oppressor, because they told them you could come out only with the mask, and they start going outside with the mask and butt naked outside. You see them on bicycles, butt naked, wearing a mask.
Good night. What the Salakia? You know what, sir? Salakia. That is totally believable, because during the LGBTQWXIZ 123 community, right? When they get together with every year in Toronto, they have their Pride Parade. I remember a few years ago, this is about 4, 5, 6 years ago, there was a bunch of oppressors riding down, I think it was Yonge Street or Church Street, right? Church Street would be their village, right? Riding down the street naked. Now, if that's not indecent exposure and pedophilia, I don't know what is.
I was there. I was there.
Right. That's crazy. Like, they be riding down the street naked. Right. But as I was saying, listen, short story, the heathens were wrestling in these gyms naked. That's why every gym you go to in the earth, the clothes is spandex. You don't need to work out in spandex. Listen, I go to the gym. Captain Tazariak goes in the gym and he works out in track pants and a t-shirt that's not tight. Now, if you want to know how to work out, just go check out Captain Tazariak. You'll find out how you're supposed to work out and how you're supposed to look in the gym, how you're supposed to maintain your priesthood while you're in the gym. Right. Salakiak, you can keep reading. Officer Shayuan, you there? Officer Shayuan might be glitching for a moment. Barakat Allah, you can continue. You can pick up where he left off. We were in First Maccabees 1:14.
First Maccabees 1:14. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem, according to the custom of the heathen.
Right. So they built a place of exercise in Jerusalem according to the custom of the heathen. They were naked. They were Israelites defiling themselves in these places of exercise, right? And again, it's not unlawful to go to a gym and work out to maintain a healthy physique, right? But do it knowing that you are a prince of power and you are a princess of power. Right. Listen, fake Israelites tell their women they can't wear pants. So there's sisters that are wearing dresses while working out. Right. Listen, you could wear pants while working out. It doesn't have to be like how you'll see Becky wearing it. It doesn't have to be those tight TNA pants. There are perfectly baggy track pants that sisters could wear that will help them work out, that they could work out in. Keep reading.
And made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant.
God, Barakat Allah, what does it mean that they made themselves uncircumcised?
So like they were following the heathen customs.
Right, that's exactly it. They started following heathen customs, right? They forsook the holy covenant, meaning they gave it up. They didn't follow it anymore, right? What they did was celebrate their birthday. They celebrated Thanksgiving and Halloween and 1st of July and 4th of July and Christmas. Ooh, that's a big one. Christmas is coming up, and every brother and sister that's not in the UPK, they're going to be going broke. December 15th, they're going to be broke. Just listen. If you don't believe me, on December 20th, ask a Black, Hispanic, or Native American if you could borrow $20. I guarantee you they will not have it, because they spent it in Toys R Us. They spent it at Best Buy and Walmart. They spent it in Yorkdale buying gift cards for a heathen holiday. Right? Where were we? You can read 15. Keep reading.
And joined and were sold to do mischief.
Read that one more time. You were breaking up.
Kanwakan, and made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the covenant, and joined themselves to heathen, and were sold to do mischief.
Right. So whenever you join yourself to the heathen, listen, you're gonna be sold to do the mischief of what they do. Right? You join yourself to the heathen, and now you're listen. Somehow you ended up at some heathen festival, and now there's some Edomite in your arms. Right, you're hand in hand with some Edomite, and you're about to take her home because you believe that you could save her. You believe that she could be saved, that she's supposed to get your love, while your sisters are suffering in the neighborhoods that you grew up in. Right? So I see it all the time. Listen, I walk in Salakia. I drink a lot of coffee. Right? I went to a Timmy's after work, and I walked in to get listen, I need a double after work. Sometimes I don't want to fall asleep on that train, right? So I'm getting a double. There's some heathen who, listen, she not a heathen, but there's a sister she's armed in arms with some heathen looked like the Salakia. Y'all remember the Geico commercial? Y'all remember that Geico commercial that's so easy a caveman can do it? That's who she's arms and arms.
Good night.
I walked in, I said, "Ew." I don't even want this coffee no more. Salakia. I walked right back out. I'm like, good night. This is a terrible thing. Right? Where were we? We were 15, and whenever you're hand in hand with some heathen, you're gonna be doing mischief because you think that you're supposed to love them. You're gonna be eating that pork, right? And it always comes down to eating pork with these heathens, right? But we're gonna keep going through for time's sake. Skip to verse 20.
First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 20. Antiochus had smitten Egypt. He returned again in the 143rd year, and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude.
Right. So this is now an oppressor, right? He's about to come and take over and steal everything out of Jerusalem, and he's about to destroy us, right? Keep reading.
Verse 21. And entered in the sanctuary, and took away the golden altar.
Wait, read that one more time.
Light, and entered proudly into the sanctuary, and took away the golden altar, and the stick of light, and all vessels thereof.
Wait, so these heathens, listen, we had a huge golden altar, right? We had a menorah in our temple, right? A menorah. This is my little mini one. It sits on my table, right? I'm waiting on one of them big boys from Amazon, right? But we had a golden menorah that the heathens, they came in and they never seen it as something holy in the temple of the Most High Power. They seen it as money. And they took it. They stole everything down to the curtains, because that's what these seasons do. Keep reading.
Verse 22. And the table of shewbread and the vessels.
They even took
And
the
the
showbread. Right. They even took the showbread and the wine cups. Right. Because listen, this is the temple that Solomon built. Right. It was fine gold. Right. Israel had the gold. We destroyed many nations that came up against us. Right. We had the gold in our temple. That same gold is sitting in the Vatican right now. This is why how could something, a place down near the size of Toronto, be its own country? It's smaller than that. Right. Keep reading. Where were you? Were you at verse 22?
Kind of. And the
Keep reading.
censers of
And
gold.
Akim, y'all know, if y'all have anything to add, y'all could jump in.
Come on, sir.
And the censers of gold and the veil.
Right.
The
They took our incense burners. They took everything. Like listen. Just imagine they go into a house, they take everything out of the house, then they come and they break the drywall so they can cut out the copper piping. That's what these heathens are doing. Keep reading.
And the golden ornaments that would be for the temple pulled off.
So it's like a priest, if I may.
Khan.
And what a priest. But even in 70 AD, when we could see the archaeology about it, we could see exactly that Rome was doing the same thing as during the 70 AD period.
Right.
When they took the menorah and they brought it exactly to Rome, and they have that on their wall. They bring that part of the wall into Rome.
Right.
The Vatican has it. You understand? What happened with the Greeks? It's not the first time it happened, the only time it happened. It also happened when we was in the slave in captivity with Babylon. When they took off utensils, they broke the temple and everything, and they carried away everything that we had into their land. And I had to talk with a brother today. You understand? This is how the Ethiopians have the Bible as well, because they took everything that we had and carried them into their own land, just like the Greeks and just like the Edomites did during the Roman Empire. They brought exactly everything that we had into Rome. And this is why, like today, that we have people asking, like, where are the artifacts? Where are this? Where are that? Because they have them. Because these are the nations that have them. That's where they're at.
Right.
If you want to say something, go beg it. Not go beg, but do what you got to do. Like this, you could recuperate and have these things back from the oppressor.
Right.
This is what they have today. This is why we can see the menorah today. This is why we can see that, you understand, what was in the temple back in the day, because they have them. It's like priest.
Right. And Salakia, that's so heavy because the Romans even minted coins about them taking over Jerusalem, about them destroying Israel. Right. And it's not hard to find these things. It's there. Right. Okay, where were we? Can you read verse 23 again? Or you could read Salakia. Did you finish verse 22? Read verse 23.
First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 23. He took also the silver and the
Salakia, you were breaking up.
She found.
Salakia, you were breaking up. Read it one more time, Baba Kasha.
Khan. He took also the silver and the gold and the precious vessels. Also Salakia. Also took the hidden treasure which he found.
Right. Listen, they took the silver, the gold, the vessels. Like, right, we had wine. We had vessels for wine. Salakia. We have vessels for the olive oil, the oil that would be poured upon your head. Right. Now, Salakia, check this out. Right. Imagine something like this made out of gold and silver. Right? Something like this made out of gold and silver for oil or wine. Right? The heathens came, give me this. I need this. They took it, right? Because the heathen, he takes everything. Man, children, land, cattle. Salakia. Right. Let's jump down. Officer Shaw, you on. You Tawab?
Khan, sir.
Khan. In the same chapter, get me verse 33.
Khan. Verse 33. Then builded they the city of David with a great and strong wall, and with mighty towers, and made it a stronghold for them.
Right. So this is what they did. They gentrified it. Like Salakia. Right. That's what they did. Listen, have you seen Regent Park now? Have you seen Salakia? Listen, go walk through Lawrence Heights. It looks like a war zone. But in the midst of it, you're seeing new condos go up. You're seeing Benz and Bentleys and Lexuses and Jaguars that you've never seen in the neighborhood before. Right? They're doing it to every neighborhood. This is what they did. They went in and they built it up and made it a stronghold for them. Listen, as soon as you start to see Salakia, somebody name a grocery store that's more predominantly in the poorer neighborhoods.
Salakia, other one. Do they still have Price Chopper out there?
You know what? Price Chopper is now something green. It's called, what is it called? Price Chopper is something green, but it's still essentially a Price Choppers, right? But that's perfect. In Jane and Finch, you're gonna find Price Choppers, right? 1 second, I'm gonna find it for you. Right? In Jane and Finch, you're gonna find the Price Choppers. As soon as you start seeing Whole Foods, you know they're taking over your neighborhood.
Right.
1 second. It's not Price Choppers no more. Yeah, I think they still do have actually Price Choppers, but it's something else. It's literally something else that they have over there. So okay, I'm gonna find it for it. Food Basics. That's what they have now, right? So when you start to see your Food Basics get turned into a super center, right? You know that they're building up your neighborhood, right? And when they build up your neighborhood, it's to get you out. But keep reading.
Come. Verse 34. And they put therein a sinful nation.
A what?
A sinful nation.
Right. So they put therefore a sinful nation. Have you ever wondered why the ghettos are the way they are? Why our neighborhoods are the way they are? Shayuan, why are our neighborhoods the way they are? You just read it?
It's like the other one because of sinful people live in it.
Right. A sinful people live in our nation, right? Now read that one more time.
Come, sir. And they put therein a sinful nation.
Read.
Wicked men.
Read.
And fortified themselves therein.
Listen, this is Habibi's on the corner.
Right.
This is Mr. Chin in every neighborhood that you're in. Right? This is every Ishmaelite that owns every double in every plaza that's in your neighborhood. Right? A sinful nation. Right? The people that are gonna sell the what are they? Listen, when I was in the world, those Lucy's were 50 cents. I don't know what the hell is going on now. Right? They're selling 50-cent Lucy cigarettes to your children who are in high school. Right? This is that sinful nation. And they fortified themselves therein. They built up Jerusalem and made it perfect for them. Keep reading.
Come. Oh, Salakia.
It was 35.
Come. So, verse 35. They stored it also with armor and victuals. And when they had gathered together the spoils of Jerusalem, they laid them up there, and so they became a sore snare.
Listen, they made a barracks. They made a storage facility of everything that's in Jerusalem. Right? Now imagine the heathens take everything out of your house and they just have it somewhere sitting in some warehouse somewhere. Right? And you're trying to get back all your heirlooms. You're trying to get back everything that's supposed to be in your house. Salakia, I ain't even taking this chat. Let me give a quick shout out to the chat. Shalom to Janice Bell. Shalom, Sarah, daughter of Zion. Captain Hamakobath. Shalom. Right. The water for everybody tuning in. I was not looking at the chat earlier. Right. If you got any questions or any comments, you could definitely type them in. Don't Salakia. Like, share, and subscribe this video. Don't be shy. Just you can put it on your page, right?
Right.
Share it. Like, don't be shy. They're gonna hit the comments. Don't worry. they're gonna type in the comments, but it's all good. You don't even have to reply. Just like, subscribe, share this on all platforms. Right, where were we? Salaki, where were we reading?
Salaki, around verse 36.
Right, read verse 36.
For it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary, and an evil adversary to Israel.
Keep reading.
Verse 37. Thus they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary and defiled it.
Right. So this is they're shedding blood in the temple that Solomon built. This is where the Lord dwells in Israel, in this temple. Right. And they're shedding the blood of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans in this temple. Right? It's the same thing they do now. Right? They come into our neighborhoods and they just kill us at will. Right? They listen, Dylan Storm Roof, he goes into the church and just kills 9 black people. Right? To America, the church is supposed to be a holy place. That building, that brick and mortar, the drywall, the studs, and all that, and the pews and the benches, it's supposed to be a holy place to America. Right? But our oppressor's going in there and just spreading innocent blood. He's shedding the blood of the innocent thereof. Keep reading.
Verse 38. Insomuch that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them.
Listen. Have you heard this before? Who could tell me where this has happened before in history? Right? Just think tribe of Judah. I'll give you a hint. It's more recent history. This is not biblical. Right? Even though Salakia, I'll clarify what I mean. Right? Officer Shaw, you want to read what you just read?
Come. Verse 38. Insomuch that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them.
Right. Now, this has happened to the tribe of Judah in recent history. That's what I meant. Who could tell me what I'm talking about?
Salakion, is it Tulsa, Oklahoma?
I'll take that, but more to the point. Bring me home.
Salakia, other one.
Okay, wait. Before you go, Officer Shaiwan, think of the Judites in Halifax.
Halifax.
Right. That should help you.
Salakia, other one. Is that the Underground Railroad?
God, you could say it started with that Underground Railroad, right? Now, all throughout history in the United States, you're gonna see a bunch of Judites leaving the South and going north. They're gonna keep going north until they get into Halifax, until you get to Scotia, until you meet some brothers out in Scotia that listen, Salakia. Listen, I don't think Floyd Mayweather would last a fist fight in Scotia. Salakia. I'm just
right.
They Judites too. Don't be like, oh, he from Canada. That's why he's saying that. Nah, man. Them Judites in Scotia, they know how to throw down. Like, if you ever met Khan.
Salakia, when I'm thinking that area, weren't those the brothers that went to war? They went to war for the states. I think they fought in World War II so that they could get their freedom. And they came up on ships to Nova Scotia.
There are brothers who were coming up to Nova Scotia through World War II and all throughout the wars, but even as far back as the American Revolution, when blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans were going to the British to fight the Americans, they were blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who were coming up with the British back up into Canada. Because even though the British lost their stronghold in America, they still were able to come back to Canada. Right? And that's basically what's happening, and you can still see it in today. Listen, in the early 80s in Toronto, everyone ran from Jane and Finch and went to Brampton. Salaki, have y'all been to Brampton lately? Do you know what's happening in Brampton? In Brampton, it's a bunch of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who think that, listen, I live from, I don't know, name a damn block in Brampton. I'm from there. My house doesn't look like Jane and Finch, but I got to bang. I got to thug it out.
God.
Right? A bunch of people left their neighborhoods where they grew up in. And instead of building a community, they ran to be amongst oppressors. And now their kids are doing the same thing that they ran from. Mississauga, Brampton, Pickering, Markham, Vaughan, just you name it, everywhere.
So Salakia, other one. And if I may, all the rats and mice and raccoons and roaches, it all came with them into Brampton.
Right.
Salakia.
Right. And even worse, guess who's in Brampton making the car insurance go through the roof? So, Elam with his crazy driving and the souping up of the cars. Listen, when you see a black car with gold trim, just slow down. Like Salakia. The gold trim is not supposed to be on the car. You know what I'm talking about, right? The Walmart spinners, when the black car has gold trim, the Walmart spinners, and the vinyl, man, the vinyl with the two swords. Salakia. I'm trying not to get the channel taken down, but just keep moving, man. Slow down because you're gonna end up in a car crash. Salakia. Keep reading though.
Come. Verse 38. Insomuch that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them, whereupon the city was made an habitation of strangers.
Right, and that's that gentrification right there. When you start to see, listen, haven't you noticed your neighborhood has more Edomites walking these little dogs now? You haven't noticed it? That they're gentrifying your communities? It's the same thing that was happening then is happening to you now. They were gentrifying these communities. Read.
And became strange to those that were born in her.
Jerusalem had strangers in it. They were defiling our precious city. The city that the Most High set as a jewel in the earth, they were defiling it.
Right.
Now, let me paint this. Let me paint this for any young brother who or sister who's in the world who might just stumble across this perfect time in the video. You have a chain that you bought from some heathen named Kalani, or some bag that you got from Hope Renfrew, and I threw mud on it. I totally dipped it in the mud and I let it sit there. That's what happened to our city. Keep reading.
Come. And her own children left her.
Right. Slakia, what verse are you at?
Verse 38.
You was that was the end of 38?
Come, sir.
You could jump to verse 40.
Come. Verse 40. As had been her glory, so was her dishonor increased, and her excellency was turned in the morning.
Right. Listen. Imagine listen. I'm even go even worse, and I know the sisters are gonna feel this one. You got all pretty, right? You put on that beautiful dress, and you're walking down the street, and someone splashed a dirty puddle with their car on you. Now your dress, your makeup, and your hair is ruined. Absolute devastation. That's what happened to our land, to the place that the Lord gave us as an inheritance. Keep reading.
Verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
What does every Christian pastor say to us?
So like we're all the same.
Right. It's right there, right? Every Christian pastor says it to us, but Officer Shayuan, read it one more time. All should be one.
Verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
This is what every politician says to us. Say that one more time. All should be one people.
That all should be one people.
They come to us and tell this all the time to us. We're the human race.
Right.
Listen, you don't have hue. Like, wait, what are you talking about? Hue is color. Apparently, you're white and I'm colored. Like, so apparently you don't have hue, right? Unless you're gonna say you're the red man, and then I have to go into my book and find out who the red man was, and by means that now I'm finding out you're Esau. You're my enemy, right? And so every pastor has always said we should all be what they say, Shayuan?
That all should be one people.
Right. Keep reading.
Verse 42. And everyone should leave his laws. So
right.
all
that's what this heathen, he wanted us to turn on our God. Right. He wanted us to turn on our God, right? They wanted us to be one with the heathen. They want us to be one with the heathen now. We were destroyed then and we're destroyed now. Keep reading.
Come. And everyone should leave his laws.
Salakia. Listen, what Salakia? I know in every screen that I'm watching right now, there's some good food.
Right.
It's not that dry ass turkey. I just gotta say it, like Salakia. So
Right.
Listen, I don't even tell you what's in my oven right now. Y'all know I throw down. Y'all know when it comes to that cooking, I'm going in. Salakia. So I know. Listen, I see my brother Shaywan come home from camp one day and post a picture. I said, God damn, get that sis right. Right. So lucky. And when we go to Montreal, oh my gosh. Right. So I know it's nothing like what I was seeing these jakes post up in the world over the weekend. They were posting up some disgusting shit. And I was like, listen, have you now I know we Canadians, so we don't really do this, but what the hell is chitlins? Like Salakia. Y'all telling me y'all still eating? Nah, listen, man. We eat oxtail, that's slave food, but we made it taste nice. But the chitlins, though, the Most High don't like chitlins. The Most High is cool with the oxtail, though, straight up. Like Salakia. All right, let's get back to it.
Come on.
I crack a couple of jokes, man, because I don't know what they were doing on that. What do they call it in the world? They calling it Thanksgiving in the world right now, right? These blackity blacks, the so-called woke, right? They calling it Thanksgiving. Salakia.
Right. Verse 42. And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
Right, that was no sweat for the heathens. Like Israelite has integrity. We don't deal with that. Right, that was no sweat for the damn heathens. They were able to say, listen, I don't have to wear my Salakia. What do they call that thing that the Japanese wear? It starts with a K. I'm trying to remember this name right now.
Salakia. It's something like Komodo or
Salakia.
I think it's a kimono, right?
Kimono. God.
Yeah, I think. Let me Google that right quick. Yeah, a kimono, right? The Japanese wear kimono. They said we're going to put down our kimonos and wear whatever Antiochus wants us to wear.
Right.
Right. And this is happening now. Thuwada, sister Kawapa, she said it's a kimono. Thuwada, sis. Yahweh Shamar Alathamba Hashem Yahushai. Right. Like this happens right now. This happens till this day. No matter what culture you are, when it comes to doing business in the world and you want to do business, you have to put on a suit and tie. Listen, the Arabs put on that suit and tie. Once they come over to America or into Canada or into the US, that suit and tie goes on. Unless you're like you have some type of status, unless you have some type of status of where you actually rule the country, everyone else is putting on that suit and tie. Everyone else is becoming a Christian to do business. Keep reading.
Come. Verse 43. Yea.
Tell us where we are. Babu Kisha.
Come. This is the book of 1 Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 43. Yea. Many also of the Israelites consented to his religion.
Wait. What? What'd you just read? What was happening?
Also of the...
No, you can read.
Come. Also of the Israelites consented to his religion.
Wait, so there were men of the Lord who were saying, listen, I'm about to give up my law, statutes, and commandments and agree to what Antiochus is saying. Keep reading.
And sacrificed unto idols.
They sacrificed unto idols. And what else did they do?
And profaned the Sabbath.
Right. They sacrificed unto idols and they profane the Sabbath. Right. And listen, we're destroyed because we're supposed to be kings. We're supposed to be princes and princesses. Right. Now there's many of us who we don't conform. Right. We know we're supposed to be the kings. We know we're supposed to be the kings of the earth, but we're living in hell. Right. Right now, let's think about it. Right, like we were the oppressors came over here and they started battling with Gad. Gad was so so strong, such a fierce adversary that till this day there's a war machine called the Apache helicopter, and that's a bird that spits fire, shoots missiles, could damn near turn on a dime, right? Till this day, our oppressor is so impressed with the fighting ability of Gad that they're still naming war machines after them, right? And there were Israelites who conformed, but then there's Israelites who didn't conform because they had integrity, meaning we can't join. There were Israelites who said we'd rather die, and that's what we're finding out. That's what we're reading. That's what we're gonna break down. You're gonna find out that there were Israelites who we rather die on our feet.
Right.
There's a saying that you'll hear brothers in the world say, I'd rather die on my feet than to live on my knees. Right? And that was the spirit of certain men in the stories that we're going to read. Right? Jump down to 46.
Come. And pollute the sanctuary and holy people.
Right, so they polluted our sanctuary and the holy people. They made the holy people just give up their God, like they made it hard. This is not the time that we're living in now. Listen, there's no one holding a gun to your head saying celebrate Christmas. There's no one holding a sword to your throat saying put up that mistletoe. Right, go eat that dry turkey with Salakia. Listen, I don't even like cranberries like that. Like, I don't know what the hell is going on over there, but that there's no one telling you that you gotta do that straight up. Like you don't have to do it. It's listen, find a school, hit a signing link, and you'll find out that it's relatively easy to not celebrate a heathen's holiday because it's about nothing. Straight up. Where were we? 46. You could keep reading.
Come. Verse 47. Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols.
Right. Did you know that in the Catholic Church they have what was that chapels of idols? Like they'll have a statue of a saint, and they will build this extravagant. It's like a shelf. It's damn near a shelf that you could carry. They build an extravagant shelf that you could carry like it's an ark, right? Just to put some statue in it, and they'll parade it down the street, and people will pin money to it and come outside just to see this statue, right? Christianity has nothing to do with the Israelites of the Bible. It has nothing to do with Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All these heathen religions is about idol worship. Keep reading.
And sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts.
And sacrifice swine's flesh. Right? Read that one more part and stop at this. Read that one more time and stop at the swine's flesh, Baba Kasha.
Come. Verse 47. Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols and sacrifice swine's flesh.
Right, they would sacrifice swine's flesh. Who could tell me what was so important about the sacrifice of swine's flesh?
Salakia, when it was a heathen custom.
Khan, it was definitely heathen's custom, but it's a little more, just a little more deeper than that. It's just something about that swine's flesh. Salakia, what was that?
It was forbidden to us. Was forbidden to us.
Khan, it was forbidden to us, but it's just like every heathen custom. Every heathen custom is forbidden to us, but there's an importance for them to give us swine. where it's like it's damn near like, listen, we're gonna cut your head off if you don't eat this swine. Anybody want to give it a shot?
Salakia was an abomination.
Salakia. It was a abomination. Like, all your answers are definitely right? But in this particular instance, it's like we want to get to like the absolute root of why they wanted us to eat that swine. For time's sake, I'll give it to you, right? Think about swine. Just like any food, what is it about swine? Like, what? Okay, if you ask any brother why he puts that bacon on that McDouble, it's like, listen, he's about to go get that McDouble, but he needs it with bacon, that junior bacon. Like, why? What does he say? What does he say about the bacon?
Because it's good.
Right. That's exactly what he says. He says it tastes good. Right. Now think about it like this, right? A brother who doesn't want to eat that swine, but he doesn't want to lose his life, so he's gonna eat the swine. At first, he doesn't want to eat the swine. He's like, listen, man, I don't want to eat this, right? The first rib fest goes by, he doesn't want to eat it. The second rib fest comes by, then he eats it, right? But he still doesn't want to eat it. But what eventually happens the more you eat swine? Or just eat anything, do anything that you're not supposed to do?
Salakia, other one, if I may. Was it so that Salakia, how do I phrase that? Was it so that it was like basically like a way of showing that the Israelites were turning away from their customs?
Yes. In this particular instance, I'm going to say no, but yes, you're definitely right. Right? It was a way of showing that the Israelites were with the heathens, but in this particular case, it's about the swine, right? So what Trooper Baraki Allah said was correct. A brother is going to get that he's going to go to McDonald's and put bacon on his meal and say, because it tastes good, right? This is why the heathens want you to eat the swine, because at first you don't want to eat it, and then you eat it, and then you eat it and eat it some more, and then you say, you know what, that swine tastes good, and you're hooked. They got you, right? And now listen, this is what happens. Go tell any family member that eats pork, listen, you shouldn't eat pork. And what are they going to say? They're going to say it tastes sweet though. Hey, listen, I literally told a brother, I had a conversation. I was playing PlayStation the other day. I had a conversation with the brother. I said, listen, y'all still eating shrimp though. And another brother said, what's wrong with shrimp? A brother that follows me on Instagram, he already knows. He said that it's sea roaches. And I said, God, you be watching them Instagram posts. And he just started laughing. But the other brother said, but it tastes good. And I said, what? Like, it tastes good? What are you talking about? Right? And that's why they want us to eat the swine, because eventually it starts to taste good. This is why the heathens wanted us to eat that swine, right? So keep reading.
Come. And unclean beasts, verse 48, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised.
You could drop verse 48, right? Drop verse 48. Trooper Barakia Allah, get me Salakia, 1 second. Right, I'm going to show you a story about a brother who he didn't eat the swine. All this is leading up to the wars that we're going to fight with these Grecians, right? Get me Trooper Bracket Allah, get me 2 Maccabees 6 and verse 18. Right, we're gonna jump through the story somewhat. You can read it whenever you have it.
This is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 6, verse 18. Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man, and of a well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth and to eat swine's flesh.
Right. So I'm gonna break that down for you right quick. There was a brother, right? He was a scribe, right? He was one that would write down the records of what was happening amongst us, right? This man was up in age, meaning he was an elder. He could have been your grandfather, right? And they held him down so he could eat swine's flesh. He wouldn't eat that flesh, right? He wouldn't open his mouth to eat that swine's flesh, right? There are men who are, they're just gonna say, listen, I can't fight, I can't do it, I'm too weak, right? When there's men who are gonna stand up and say, la, I'm not gonna do that, those men are in the UPK. Keep reading.
Verse 19. But he choosing rather to die gloriously.
Wait. So this man chose to die, right? Like we were saying earlier, this man rather die on his feet. He wanted to die gloriously. He knew that to not eat that swine's flesh was to die gloriously. Keep reading.
Then to live stained with such an abomination.
He didn't want that abomination to be associated with him. He didn't want to be stained, right? That's now listen, you have a fresh white t-shirt, right? And I know every brother could understand this. You got that fresh white t-shirt and you matched it with the white ones, right? You got some white forces, and listen, the jeans are perfectly creased, and then you got a stain on that right in the center of the t-shirt. You can't get rid of it. This brother didn't want that. He wanted to go about his life not defiling his body with swine. Keep reading.
Spit it forth and came out his own accord to the torment.
Right? He knew, listen, he chose to die gloriously. He knew he was about to be tortured. Right? He knew that he was about to be tormented for not eating the swine. And this is what they were doing to us. So listen, if this man knew he was going to be tormented because he didn't want to eat swine, there's no excuse to be celebrating these heathens' holidays. Keep reading.
Yeah.
And as it behoved to come that are resolute to stand out against such things.
Behooved. Read that one more time.
As it behoved them to come that are resolute to stand out against such things.
Right.
As are not lawful for love.
So listen, there's people that are watching this and they're saying it behooved them. They couldn't understand. The other nations are just bowing down. They couldn't understand why this Israelite brother does not want to go through with eating the swine's flesh. It's only meat. It's only food. It's not going to kill you. Right? It behooved them. Keep reading. Read 20 one more time, Baba Kasha.
Come, priest. Verse 20. As it behooved them to come that are resolute to stand out against such things as are not lawful for law of life to be tasted.
Right. Listen, against these heathens, you stand up against what they want. You're not gonna have a life. They're going to kill you. right? When you keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, you're going to have a life, right? Keep reading, Baba Shah.
Priest. Verse 21. But they that had the charge of that wicked for the whole acquaintance, the man talking to him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own pursuing, such as was lawful for him to use, and made as if he did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king.
Right, Salakia. Right, Salakia. You were kind of breaking up, but I'm gonna break it down for we're in Genesis 6. Salakia, we're in Second Maccabees 6 verse 21. Right. So this brother, his friends were coming to him, and they were basically telling him, "Listen, just go get some food and make it look like you're eating of the king's sacrifice." Right. That's what they were telling him. And listen, this brother, he had the word of the day is integrity. He had that. He stood 10 toes down.
Right.
Like that means he stood up tall. Right. He knew that, listen, I didn't give a damn what, I'd rather fall to the hands of my Lord than to fall to these heathens. I'm not gonna go against my power.
Right. It's like a priest.
God.
If I may, in the New Testament, it tells you not to have appearance of evil. Right. So you understand, just like the brother, you understand, he didn't have no appearance. They make it look like you eating from what the king is saying. Like make him look like you eating the pork, even that though you might not be. Don't have no appearance of evil. Don't appear something evil. I mean, you gotta do laws. You gotta be right. You gotta be righteous. You gotta hold to this truth. No matter, you understand, you can be in this truth and make it look like as if. You understand? That's not the truth. You want to be 100% in the truth.
Right.
And us ISUPK, us Black Hispanics and Indian in the ISUPK and ISUPK Canada, we don't make it look like we really like it. It's like a priest.
Salakia, that's definitely heavy, man. The UPK is the only place that actually walks it like we talk it. Right? We don't just say, listen, keep the laws, and then turn around and tell you, but you can't celebrate the Passover because you're not in the kingdom. What the hell are you talking about? How the hell are you going to learn how to celebrate the Passover in the kingdom if you don't practice it now? What we're doing is we're practicing for when we're in the kingdom. Right? Salakia, where were we?
21 out of 1.
Khan, you could keep reading.
Verse 22. That is, and for the old friendship with them find favor.
Read that one more time, Baba Shah.
That in so doing, he might, and for the old friendship with them favor.
Right. So they didn't want him to die. They're saying, listen, don't, you're our friend. Don't do that. Like, just go do what you have to do so you can live. This man didn't care. You keep reading, you're gonna find out that this man, he later becomes tortured, right? And this is basically, this is a trend that men of Israel would do, right? You listen, it was better to die knowing that you obey the laws of the Most High, right, than to be weak. Now listen, some people are weak, man. They just don't have what it takes. They just don't have that that you just stand on it. You just know, like, listen, I'm gonna die on this mountain, right? I'm gonna stand here and know that Salakia, as Israelites, we fought nations that were mightier than us. Our King David, he went up against a giant, a known killer, a man who had bodies, a man who was killing. That Philistine, that Hamite, he was known to slaughter a man. And David said, yeah, I'm just going to go do this thing. I'm going to go kill this man. He wasn't weak, right? And let's read about these brothers who did the same thing, right? Get to chapter 7. Salakia, Trooper Brachiala, can you read 2 Maccabees 7, verse 1?
Khan, this is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 7. It came to pass also that 7 brethren were taken. Tormented with scourges and whips.
Salakia, can you read that again? You're breaking up.
It came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste flesh.
Right, so these brothers, there were 7 brothers taken with their mother, and they were compelled to eat swine's flesh, and they were tormented with scourges and whips. Right, read verse 2.
Verse 2. Them that spake first said thus, what wouldest thou ask of learned? We are ready to die rather than to love.
Right, hold that right there. They said they are ready to die. That's what these brothers said. They said they're ready to die. They didn't care about going against their God. Like, they didn't care about, listen, that was not even in their mind. That was far from their mind at all. Like, go against their God. They didn't even have that in their thought. Their first thought was like, wait, eat the swine's flesh, kill us now. Like, have you ever watched one of those movies? They say this a lot in movies sometimes. You'll see this in a movie. Some brothers getting robbed, right? Or some brothers getting accused of a crime that he didn't commit, and a man's like, listen, I'm gonna kill you right now because you killed my brother. And the brother turns around and says, listen, I ain't kill your brother, but I can't even prove it to you, so you might as well kill me now. You're not gonna have me here saying I killed your brother. I didn't do it. Kill me now. That's what these brothers were saying. They were saying, we are not going against our God. Kill me now. I would rather die. Right? And listen, what happened later? They turned. Now we're telling you their story, because they rather die than to be some coward in the world who's going to give up his God for some type of food. Keep reading.
Verse 3. Then the king, being in a rage, commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot.
Wait, so this king, he was in such a rage, he said, listen, get those pans and cauldrons ready. Keep reading.
Verse 4. Which forthwith being heated, he commanded to cut out the tongue of him that spake first.
So the brother that spoke first, he cut the tongue out of that man. This heathen was such in a rage that a brother would turn around and say, listen, I'm not going to follow you. Right? And they do this to us all the time. Right? Some brother comes up and says, did you know that black people are the Jews? And they want to take away his TV show. Right? But that brother was not like the Maccabees. He wasn't like these sons. He wasn't like the 7 brothers who would rather die than to turn on their God. Keep reading.
cut off the uttermost parts of his body.
Salakia, what are the uttermost parts of his body?
So like every other appendage.
Right, like they were cutting off his ears. They cut off his nose. They're cutting off fingers. Salakia, if you're still eating, I know, right? But we have to remember what happened to our people. So we don't celebrate Thanksgiving. So we don't celebrate Christmas. So we keep these laws, statutes, and commandments so we can get back our kingdom. Keep reading.
The rest of his brethren and his mother looking on.
Imagine what it's like to be seeing your brother chopped up and you can't do anything about it. You just have to look on. Read You can read verse 5.
Verse 5. Now when he was thus maimed in all his members, he commended him being yet alive to be brought to the fire.
So this man was hacked. Listen, they cut him up, but they still said bring him to the fire, right? Keep reading.
And to be fried in the pan.
They read that again. They did what?
And to be fried in the pan.
They fried this brother in a pan. This is a terrible way to die. Right? So now when you're going to go eat that pork, right? And this is to every brother and sister in the world, of course, right? Just know that there was a man who would not eat pork, and he was chopped up and fried in a pan. Keep reading.
And as the vapor of the pan was for a good space dispersed, they exhorted one another with the mother to die manfully, saying thus.
Right, let's give a hand to these brothers. Right, because they seen their brother die, and they said, listen, you know what? Still not eating that pork. The hell you thinking? They said, we gonna die like men. They said, we gonna die like men of the Lord. We're not eating that pork. Kill us. Kill me now. Jump to verse 7. Baba Kasha.
Second Maccabees chapter 7, verse 7. So when the first was dead, after this manner, they brought the second to make him a mocking stock.
So they killed one brother. They brought the second to be like, yo, listen, now you got to do it. Right? They wanted to make a mockery of him. Keep reading.
They had pulled off the skin of his head with the hair.
Wait, they did what?
When they had pulled off the skin of his head with the hair.
Now, Salakia, side note, right? For years, you've always heard that the tribe of Gad was running around scalping Europeans, right? Scalping their oppressors. When you really find out that the Europeans were doing this first. Our oppressors were doing this first. Read that one more time, because that's what they're doing.
And when they had pulled the skin of his head with the hair.
So they pulled off the skin. Now just imagine, look at this right here, right? So look, they all right here, they would cut here and they peeled it back, right? That's what Salak, I know that was graphic, right? But that's what these heathens were doing to us. That's what they were doing to our brothers and sisters. They were absolutely torturing us. They had no conscience. They didn't care about the pain that it was causing us, right? They were absolutely trying to have their way with us. Keep reading.
They asked, will thou eat before thou be punished throughout every member of thy body?
Salakia, what verse are you at again? Oh,
Second
Salakia,
Maccabees
you're
chapter
at verse
7, verse
7.
7.
Read that part one more time.
They asked him, will thou eat before thou be punished throughout every member of thy body?
Right. So listen, they peeled back this brother's scalp with his hair, right? Listen, now I don't know if it doesn't specify if his hair was braided or not, right? But every time I envision this, I'm thinking of a brother having his scalp peeled back, the braids are still on, and they're asking this brother, listen, are you gonna eat now? This man's in pain. They expect him to want to eat that meal. These heathens don't give a damn about us. You're not supposed to love these heathens. They've done atrocious crimes to us throughout history. You just go through these scriptures, go through our history book, and you'll see the crimes that they've done to us. Right? Where are we at? So they asked him, will you eat before thou be punished throughout every member of his body? Meaning we're going to do the same thing that we did to your brother. Keep reading.
Verse 8. But he answered in his own language and said,
Right,
no.
hold that right there. He answered in his own language, right? The Hebrew language that the Greeks spoke were that the Salakia. The language that these Judites spoke was Hebrew, right? Even though there was a time when they said it was unlawful for us to speak our own language, a time unlawful for us to even keep a Sabbath. This brother, he answered in his own tongue. Read that part one more time.
He answered in his own language and
Salaki, you broke up.
But he answered in his own language and said, no.
Right. He answered in his own language and said la'ah. Right. That's what that brother said. They said, will you still eat? He said la'ah. Straight up. Like he wasn't playing around. There was no time for it. That's what he said. Keep reading.
Wherefore he also received the next torment in order, as the former.
Read that one more time.
Wherefore he also received the next torment in order, as the former did.
Right. He received the same torture that his brother did. Right. And this is what they do. This is what they always do. Officer Shahiwan, Baba Kashak, can you pick up where Trooper Baraka Allah is reading? And we're gonna get to verse this is 2nd Maccabees 7 verse 10. Right. Salakia, bear with us a little. We are gonna be going over the time. Right. Once again, like, subscribe, and share this video. Bear with us, Baba Kashak. We will be going over the time. Keep reading. One second. Okay. You can read verse 10.
Come. Verse 10. After him was the third made a mocking stock. And when he was required, he put out his tongue. And that right soon, holding forth his hands manfully.
Right. Listen, this brother stuck out his tongue and said, cut my tongue out. Salakia. Do you know what type of man it takes to look your killer in the eye and say, "Listen, I ain't doing what you want. Here's my tongue. Cut it out.
Right.
You want me to eat, right? How am I gonna eat with no tongue?" And the man said, "Listen, this is one can only pray to be like these brothers.
Yeah,
One can only pray to be as strong as these men. They just watched their brother die. And it was cut my tongue out. I ain't listen, cut my tongue out. Here's my hand. Cut that off too. Right? Keep reading.
Come. Verse 11. And said courageously, these I had from heaven, and for his laws I despised them. And from him I hope to receive them again.
Salakia, Officer Shah Yuan. Break that down for us, Baba Shah.
Salakia. So this brother got his strength from heaven.
Right.
You understand? He got his strength from heaven, and he chose to serve the Most High. Right. His brother gave him strength. Right. He didn't choose to bow down, but he got strength from the Most High. Right. An angel was with him.
Right. That's definitely true, right? He definitely got his strength from the Most High power, right? He told that heathen, listen, I got my hands, I got my whole body from heaven. Take them, kill me. I pray to receive it again. Meaning, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and these brothers and sisters, they knew that you die and come back. Right? It wasn't be friends with your slave master and go to heaven. They knew that you die and come back. Right? Keep reading.
Verse 12. Insomuch that the king and they that were with him marveled at the young man's courage, for that he nothing regarded the pains.
Right. The king had to look at him and say, listen, damn, this brother's strong. Like, what the hell do I do? The king knew that, listen, if I kill this man, he's going to be stronger than me. Right? He knew that the king would have folded. That's why the king was marveled at his courage, because the king would have folded already. Keep reading.
Verse 13. Now when this man was dead also, they tormented and mangled the fourth in the like manner.
Right. Jump down to 15.
Verse 15. Afterward they brought the fifth also, and mangled him.
Right. They brought the fifth brother and they mangled him. Right. Keep reading.
Then looked he unto the king, and said, Thou hast power over men. Thou art corruptible. Thou doest what thou wilt. Yet think not that our nation is forsaken of God.
Right. He's letting them know, like, listen, our nation knows who our God is. Right. You have power right now, but we know who our power is. Read 17.
Verse 17. But abide a while, and behold his great power, how he will torment these, Salakia, how he will torment thee and thy seed.
Right. So they're letting you know, like, he's letting that man know, listen, abide a while, our power is going to get you in the end. Right. And this is what you're seeing happening to our oppressor right now. Our power is getting them right now. He's slowly but surely gonna start setting things correct. The plagues that you're seeing now, good night. Listen, that's just the tip of the iceberg. You think it's going to get better, it's not. Now over the last couple of weeks, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news, but they're talking about how there's other waves of COVID building back up. I keep hearing the numbers keep going up.
Mhm.
The numbers are going up again. And they thought it was going to be all honky dory, all fine. Everything was going to be okay. Right? You got your COVID vaccine. You've been wearing your mask. You've been socially distancing, right? The numbers have been going down, and oh snap, the numbers are going up again. Salakia, what verse were you just reading?
Salakia, Adon, we just finished verse 17.
17. You can read 18.
Come. After him also they brought the 6.
So they brought the 6th brother. Read.
Who being ready to die said.
Listen, he was like, listen, the Judites have their favorite rapper. They call him Big. He was ready to die like Big, like Salakia, right? This is something that it's just an Israelite thing. You've been ready to die. You grew up in your neighborhoods ready to die. That's why you're doing all the drugs. That's why you're going into every shootout you can. That's why you put yourself in the most dangerous situations that you can, because you've been ready to die. Right? But you've been ready to die for causes that weren't righteous. I know this because I was there. Right? This brother, he was ready to die for something righteous. He didn't want to go against his power, and he said, listen, I'm ready to die. I'm not going against my power. Before I eat this pork, you're gonna kill me. Keep reading.
Be not deceived without cause, for we suffer these things for ourselves, having sinned against our God. Therefore, marvelous things are done unto us.
Right now, Salakia, right? This rings true to right now, because you're wondering why you're seeing Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans murdered on camera.
Right.
We've sinned against our God, man. Like, it's sad. I watched a video that I probably won't ever watch this video again in my life, unless I have to do some breakdown on it. But I watched a video of a brother with a knee on his neck for damn near 9 minutes. It felt like 2 hours. I felt like I wanted to jump into the TV and go run at that police officer myself, regardless of how many shots he had in his gun. I like it. Listen, we've caused this on ourselves. That's the best way to see it. We're seeing so many of our youth dying. We're seeing so many of our sisters just in the worst situations because we don't want to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Keep reading.
Verse 19. But think not thou that taketh in hand to strive against God, that thou shalt escape unpunished.
Listen, the heathens are gonna face a judgment day for their crimes. There's gonna be a day when the heathens have to answer, right? Jeremiah 30:3 says that I will bring again the captivity, right? The heathens are gonna have to remember that they took up arms against the Lord's chosen people. Read 20.
Come. But the mother was marvelous above all.
The mother was marvelous against all. She just watched her children be slaughtered. And she was, you would think she would be ready. You would think she would be ready to eat that pork. Give her the bacon. She was ready. Read that one more time. What does it say?
The mother was marvelous above all.
The mother was marvelous above all. Read some more.
And worthy of honorable memory.
Listen, man, a sister that watched her children, A sister that watched her children get murdered in front of her and still wasn't going to eat that pork, she is worthy to be talked about.
Right.
She's worthy for us to bring up every Hachaanakah. Every feast of dedication, we're going to talk about this sister. Even when we're in the kingdom, we're going to remember this sister. Right? Keep reading.
For when she saw her 7 sons slain within the space of one day,
can you imagine
she bare
that?
With a good courage.
Salakia, hold that right there. Listen, some people can't deal with the pain of one loved one gone. Some people have lost one loved one and have never recovered from it. Some people have lost one loved one and they didn't even see that loved one gone. They didn't even see the murder and they didn't recover from it. This sister, she watched 7 of her sons murdered in one day. And she still found the strength to have strength to fight. And this is how every sister should be, with that strength, with that fortitude, with that integrity. And listen, that's how they build UPK sisters. Right? A sister in the world, unless she has a UPK, man, I don't know about her integrity, straight up. Right? And I say that because her husband, her brother, is going to teach her that integrity. Outside of it, who's teaching her integrity? Listen, her grandmother's teaching her, her mother's teaching her that she could that man's not agreeing to what you want. He's not making you happy. Just go leave him. Go find him. Go find another one. I know it's your 10th relationship. Go find, listen, 5 more men, it's okay. You'll find that one after 20. That's what sisters in the world are being taught. This sister right here, she's an honorable sister, right? There's so many honorable sisters throughout our scripture, right? Throughout our history book, right? You got Susanna, Esther, and just so many to continue on. Salaki, where were we?
Salaki, when we're in verse 20.
Keep reading.
For when she saw her 7 sons slain within the space of one day, she bare it with a good courage, because of the hope that she had in the Lord.
The Lord gave her strength. That's all you have to know. Listen, the Lord will always give you the strength you need. But there's a catch though. You got to do what the Lord needs you to do. The Lord is not with you if you're not with him. Right? And to be with the Lord means you got to keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. You got to love your brothers and sisters.
All right.
Keep reading.
Verse 21. Yea, she exhorted every one of them in her own language, filled with courageous spirits, and stirring up her womanish thoughts with a manly stomach. She said unto them, I cannot tell how ye came into my womb, for I neither gave you breath nor life.
Hold that right there. She knows that. Listen, she doesn't know how these children were in a room. She laid with her husband. He teared fire, and boom, she had children. Right? She knew that the Lord did this. Keep reading.
Neither was it I that formed the members of every one of you.
The woman is not God. Leave that for the house of unconsciousness. Right? But I would advise you, keep your daughters away from that place, though. Salakia, keep reading.
Verse 23. But doubtless the creator of the world, who formed the generation of man.
Right. She knew that the Most High Power, Yahweh in the Hebrew, he formed the generation of man.
And found out the beginning of all things.
You can finish out the verse.
Will also of his own mercy give you breath and life again, as ye now regard not your own selves for his law's sake.
Jump down to 25.
Come.
Right, because the king, he's trying to get this brother to eat this pork, right? And it's not happening. Read 25.
Verse 25. But when the young man would in no case hearken unto him, the king called his mother and exhorted her that she should counsel the young man to save his life.
Right. The king thought that the mother was going to tell him to eat that pork. Keep reading.
Come. Verse 26. And when he had exhorted her with many words, she promised him that she would counsel her son.
27.
But when she bowing herself toward him, laughing the cruel tyrant to scorn.
This sister, amazing, absolutely amazing. Like, right. What? She said, you tripping, right? Listen, good night. Let's get it. Keep reading.
Come. Laughing the cruel tyrant to scorn.
Right.
Spake in her country language on this manner.
Right.
O my son, have pity upon me that bare thee 9 months in my womb, and gave thee such 3 years, and nourished thee, and brought thee up into this age, and endured the troubles of education.
She was talking to her son like a mother would. Like, listen, I nursed you, I brought you up. Listen, you ever had a Benjamite parent talk to you when you done something bad? Listen, a Benjamite parent would say, I brought you into this world and I take you out, eh? Like Salaki. Right. And this is just how she was talking to her son. I brought you and I nursed you, right? I loved you, I educated you, and it was tough, but I educated you, right? Keep reading.
Verse 28. I beseech thee, my son, look upon the heaven and the earth, and all that is in there, and all that is therein, and consider that God made them of things that were not, and so was mankind made likewise.
Right. She's telling her son to look upon the heaven and earth, and that all that is in there, and consider that God made them things. Right. Listen, that king, he didn't make you. He can't, even though he's gonna try and make us eat pork, he's not responsible for you coming into this world.
Right.
The Most High is. Right. Salakia. Where were we? You could read 25, 29.
Come. Fear not this tormentor, but being worthy of thy brethren, take thy death, that I may receive thee again in mercy with thy brethren.
Listen, she said, "Listen, you gonna come back. That's that in a nutshell. That right. You're gonna come back, right?" One second.
30.
You could read from read 34.
Come. Verse 34. But thou, O godless man, and of all other most wicked, be not lifted up without a cause, nor puffed up with uncertain hopes, lifting up thy hand against the servants of God.
Right, like there's heathens that they're the author of confusion. They're the people that they don't have the Lord in them. They lift up their hands against his chosen people. They want us to do the evil mischiefs, right? They want us to celebrate our own murder, but we're gonna celebrate the victories that we fought against them. Right? Read 35.
Verse 35. For thou hast not yet escaped the judgment of Almighty God, who seeth all things.
Right. So our power, he sees all things. He knows what these heathens are up to. He knows that they're going overboard with their punishment. Now, again, Salakia, you know what? There's a verse that I'm looking for. 1 second. Go jump down to 32.
Come. Verse 32. For we suffer because of our sins.
Listen, the heathens are over us because we're sinning. But listen, we sin. They're over us. Like, this is what it is. Now, what are you prepared to do about it? How do you get from out of that punishment? Do you think that protesting in the streets, 1492 Land Back Lane, and hands up, don't shoot, Black Lives Matter is gonna get these heathens from above us? Like, is that what we think? Lie. That's not gonna happen. Right? We're going through this because of our sin. Right? And for the time's sake, we're gonna jump. Baba Kasha, Officer Shah, you can get me First Maccabees 4 and hold First Maccabees 4 and 52 for time's sake, right?
Come.
But read verse 36, right? The heathens are going to be going through punishment because of what they've done to us. You can stay in that same chapter that we were just reading. I just want verse 36, and then you can hold the other stuff I was asking for.
Come. Verse 36. For our brethren, who now have suffered a short pain, are dead under God's covenant of everlasting life. But thou, through the judgment of God, shalt receive just punishment for thy pride.
Right. Like the oppressors are going to receive just punishment for their pride. Right? Because they believe that they're supposed to be over us. They're going to receive punishment for that. Right? And we fought wars to defeat the Grecians. Right? And as the week goes by, as the next 8 days goes by, we're opening the Feast of Dedications. As the next 8 days goes by, we're going to be breaking down the wars that we fought with the Grecians. Right? Salakia, you can get me verse 452. Right? And we'll go into the feast that we have for Hachaanakah.
Come. This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 4 and verse 52. Now on the 25th day of the 9th month, which is called the month Caslu, in the 148th year, they rose up betimes in the morning.
Keep reading.
Verse 53. And offered sacrifice according to the law upon the new altar of burnt offerings, which they had made.
Right. So they made an altar, right? This was for burnt offerings, right? This was for burnt offerings according to the law, right? Keep reading.
54. Look at what time and what day the heathen had profaned it. Even in that was it dedicated with songs and citherns and harps and cymbals.
Right. So they dedicated with songs, right? Like as Israelites, we love music. We love to make our music. We dedicated this altar with with music, right? We dedicated it with the heart.
So like
Khan.
the water. And when it say dedicated the temple with songs, it's not talking about the songs in the Christian church. It's not about your Hashamallah, whatever. You understand? I love Jesus, hallelujah.
Right.
But like we celebrating the feast of war. It's talking about war. Then you understand? And just like you understand back in the days, we killed Saul killed his, David killed his, you understand? Those are songs. You understand? The songs that we used to sing, songs about war. We won the war, Edomites. We killed those pagans. Those were singing, dedicated to the Most High. Or just the same song that we have in that. All the brothers, Captain Ka, understand? Dawada. You understand? All of them brothers, you understand? Asha Yar. You understand? All of them brothers singing song, you understand? Real righteousness, real positivity, real brotherhood, real love, powerful, you understand, message to our people, not about your song. I love Jesus, Jesus, you understand? Those were in the song that we're singing in the temple, man. Those songs were about war celebrating tonight with songs of war. It's like
right. That's so heavy. That's so heavy because like you think about it, like the Christian church songs are just about like, listen, I've never liked a single Kurt Franklin song, Salakia. Right. My mom made me do the choir when I was younger. I never liked it, but I did it. It's like those girls in it, so I did it. Salakia. Right. But I never liked it. Right. But listen, you go through the Psalms and you start listening you start spitting some of that stuff that David was going through. And listen, Tupac got nothing on that. When Tupac hit him up, like, listen, that ain't nothing like Psalms 83. Tupac was saying, when I ride on my enemies, and that has nothing to do with none of the stuff David was singing, because the stuff David made was absolutely hard. Like it was about war. It was about riding out on your enemies. It was about, listen, this is about a man on a run, and he has to survive. You'll never get a better rap album than Psalms, straight up. Right, Salakia.
Salakia, priest. If I may on this.
Come.
Like Tupac's song, "If I Ride on My Enemies," will be closer to what David was singing than the Christian church. Salakia, priest.
Right. Come. That is definitely true. That's definitely heavy. That's definitely true. Like what Tupac was rapping would be closer to what David was singing in the Christian church. Listen, Captain Mashak broke down how DMX has a song called "Stop Being Greedy, Give to the Needy," and that is a direct story about David, about when he was trying to get some food from a brother, and the brother wouldn't feed him, and he went back to his people. They strapped up. They were about to go slaughter that brother. But the wife of the brother came and gave David some food, and he said, listen, you saved me from sinning. Now, shortly after the Most High took that brother's life, David went back for that sister and got her. Straight up. So David's music was the Psalms. Listen, man, Salaki, I'll just leave it at that. Right. We're gonna finish up the scripture right quick so we can end this class, because I know it's getting late. We got slavery in the morning, and I know there's some good food y'all want to continue eating, right? Salakia, Officer Char, you on what verse were you on?
Verse 55 out of 1.
Khan, you can continue reading.
Khan. Then all the people fell upon their faces, worshiping and praising the God of heaven, who had given them good success.
Right, because they were going through wars and tribulations. They were going through fighting. People were coming to kill them, and they worshiped the Most High for giving them success. Keep reading.
Verse 56. And so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days and offered burnt offerings with gladness.
That's what we're gonna do now. Listen, man, most Christians in the world, they only go to the Most High when they're in trouble. They don't go to him when everything's going well. Right?
Right.
In this school, we go to the Most High in all times. When it's bad, when it's good, we go to him even more when it's good. Listen, when it's good, everything's Most High in Christ. Everything's Most High in Christ. It's like, oh snap. Listen, you pass your test, Most High in Christ. Salakia, because we know that without the Most High, we ain't nothing. Listen, in the UPK, we say without my brothers, I ain't shit. But really, we ultimately know that without the Most High, it's Black Wall Street again. It's going. We're in Egypt again when we're not with the Most High. Keep reading.
Come. And sacrificed the sacrifice of deliverance and praise.
Keep reading.
Verse 57. They decked also the forefront of the temples with crowns of gold and with shields.
And with shields, Salakia. What is the shield?
Salakia, other one. King David's signature.
Right. Just if you look all throughout the class right now, you see it. Salakia. Keep reading.
And the gates and the chambers they renewed, and hang doors upon them. Verse 58. Thus was there very great gladness among the people, for that the reproach of the heathen was put away.
Keep reading.
59. Moreover, Judas and his brethren, with the whole congregation of Israel, ordained that the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year, by the space of 8 days. From
right. So this is what we're remembering right now, right? The memorial in 8 days where the Judas, the Maccabees, right? They set it up that we're gonna remember this 8 days because the Most High was good to us, right? We celebrated our victories. Listen, again, the oppressor wants to celebrate his victories. Cool, no sweat. Celebrate it. You should. That's what you're supposed to do. Celebrate your victories. That's all right. Because our King Yahushua, he's going to get it back in blood. And we're going to celebrate that, right? We're going to celebrate when we have to put the heathens in captivity. We're going to celebrate the wars that the angels in Christ are going to fight for us, right? Keep reading.
From the 25th day of the month Kislev, with mirth and gladness.
You can finish out the chapter.
Come. Verse 60. At that time also they builded up the Mount Sion with high walls and strong towers round about, lest the Gentiles should come and tread it down, as they had done before. And they that set there garrison to keep it, and fortified Bethsura to preserve it, that the people might have a defense against Idumea.
Against who?
Idumea.
Who?
The white man.
Our oppressor?
Idumea.
The European?
Edomites.
The Spaniard?
Idumea.
Right? Salakia. Idumea. We know who our oppressor is. We know who's been killing us. We know who we've been fighting for years. We know who puts knees on our brothers' necks, shoots them in their back, sexually assaults our sisters during traffic stops, kidnapping sisters off reservations. We know it's Idumea, Edom, Esau, the European, the oppressor, the white man who is the devil the Bible speaks of. Right. So this has been the opening of the Feast of Dedications. All throughout the week, we're going to be going through it, dropping videos and having classes based off the Feast of Dedication, right? Again, I'd like to say Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Baruch Atah to all the brothers, Yahweh Shema Alatham Ba'Shem Yahushai to all the sisters, the water for tuning in, right? Keep watching these videos, keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing, right? Eat that good food, spend some time with your brothers and sisters, right? And shalom. Class is dismissed.
All right.